Well, first of all, nobody moves into an HOA with an intention of running for the board. Most of us moved here, for example, for the amenities. Great golf, cool pool, free gym and exercise classes, good food, an affordable motel for visitors, and in the end, good friends. However, once we are here, and happy are made by our choice of location, some of us develop an even deeper appreciation for what we have, as well as an appetite for giving back to our community, if and when we have the time. Just this morning, the American Journal of Preventive Medicine published a study of more than 13,000 adults, 50 years old or more. It analyzed the benefits of volunteering in terms of the health and well-being of the volunteers. The results? Those who volunteer for as little as 2 hours a week have a substantially reduced risk of earlier mortality and of developing physical limitations, and have higher levels of subsequent physical activity and an improved sense of well-being later on compared to individuals who don't volunteer. Most of the people with whom I've made friends since my wife Shelley and I moved here 14 years ago are in fact MLCC volunteers and feel better for it. It's certainly one of the reasons we like them so much. They truly care about who and where they are. So let me start by thanking all the candidates, past and present, who volunteered to commit 2 years of their lives to serve on the MLCC board. Let me also applaud the vast majority of members who value our rules enough to abide by them, even if a few of us need a polite reminder once in a while. Finally, special kudos to the folks running this candidate forum and to the club staff who helped them. Having co-chaired 2 of these forums, I'm mightily impressed by the job Juliana Dawson and her crew have done, considering the trying circumstances we've all been enduring lately. With that in mind, I'm still Hall Daly. For better or worse, I'm running, well, at my age, I'm more like walking, I think, for the board. Never forget that if you can't laugh at yourself, then others will surely fill that void for you. As one of 9 candidates for 4 seats on the 7-member board of directors, I do have a few habits and thoughts that might make me at least an interesting elected representative. Listening with an open mind and being clear about and when taking a position. Focusing on community safety, legal compliance, and financial stability as priorities. Directors should own what they say and how they act. Being welcoming to fellow members and valuing thoughtful change. One such change would be moving the election and budget making calendars so that snowbirds can participate more fully and feel more like respected fellow owners rather than seasonal visitors. Upgrading the club's infrastructure by optimizing its embedded technology and reshaping workspace needs in order to keep our self-governing organization professionally managed, which it currently is. Looking at the annual budget in 2 starkly different ways. 1, a zero-based view of operations, which would identify what reductions in services, amenities, operation hours, and events would be required by a flat budget. And 2, a look at a more robust budgeting that can be justified not only by rising utility and labor costs, but also by the enhancement of services and productivity. One other optional and long-avoided cost item is the paying down of burdensome bad debt. Such debt is essentially a self-imposed and, when unaddressed, a permanent tax on membership, imposed by fellow or former members who are delinquent in their obligated payments. For their efforts in tackling this sometimes difficult and unpopular matter, I applaud and give the current board a thumbs up. I will also have in a statement that goes out with the ballots a comment about exploring the notion of consolidating some committees. My concern is that less than 15% of the deeded owners in Mission Lakes are actually active on committees in the board. And it might be a very good idea to try and focus more of these volunteers on more key agendas than they currently do on, say, one single committee. Directing management to focus food and beverage amenity on doing an ambitious but reasonable number of things extremely well, while also being vigilant about employing best business practices in all things, large and small. Continuing to ask constructive questions about the sustainability of the club's business plan Now, perhaps more than ever, future planning is critical to ensure the club is nimble and well prepared in today's environment. For 30 years, I served as a government relations director at Caltech and worked with JPL, and 17 years before that I was a print journalist who learned to cherish the First Amendment. My background here includes several years on the Member Communications Committee prior to my retirement and currently as chair of the ACC. Bottom line, elections are not about taking sides. They are about making a positive difference. Please take time to vote, and just as importantly, find time to get a bit more involved if and when you can. Stay healthy.
Thank
you
you,
have
Paul.
questions?
I have 2 questions. I'll repeat the question twice, and then I'll say that you can start now, and Judy will start the timer. You have 2 minutes.
Yep.
The first question, please describe your understanding of the difference between the service of your constituency and any personal agenda.
Good
Please
question.
describe your understanding of the difference between the service of your constituency and any personal agenda. Please begin now.
Okay. So you've hit on a key philosophical issue that goes back a minimum of 300 years. There was, in fact, a huge amount of debate as to whether or not democracies really ought to be started by individuals who had personal issues to represent and to enact. It's my opinion that it is a mix of those two things. You have to have personal opinions, otherwise you wouldn't get involved. Most people are oriented toward thinking that things could be better in one way or another, and insofar as they think they know how to do that, they tend to get more involved, whether or not they're successful, with their ideas. I don't have a huge number of personal agendas that I can think of. I'll be honest, I'd love to be able to walk the course in the summer in the afternoon, at least on Thursdays after 2 o'clock, but that's pretty arcane. So by and large, I do find it interesting in the current environment that the club, any organization, has to be more nimble in future planning, because things are one heck of a lot more volatile than they were, say, 50 years ago when this HOA was founded.
Thank you. The second question is, what is your most comfortable avenue of communication to make yourself available to understand the needs of the members? What is your most comfortable avenue of communication to make yourself available to understand the needs of the members?
Right. So, in person, period. Electronically, I'm much more facile with email. I'm not a giant telephone guy anymore. I did that for a long time, and quite frankly, I'd like to have at least an idea of what people would like to talk about before I either get on the phone or see them in person. Those are the best. I used to be a writer, so I'm a little, biased in that regard. I do like to see people own what they say, including myself.
Thank you, Hall.
Thank you.